Every week, I always get excited to share something new with you from my dear friend Mike Cohn. He did send another email, and I want to share it with you. And this one's talking about a topic that's near and dear to my heart. He starts with, here's something I've noticed over the years. Many teams think backlog refinement means making the entire backlog completely detailed and ready. That's not how a healthy backlog works. I thought that was interesting. A well managed product backlog should have what's called a gradient of clarity. And now that I'm reading this, I 100% agree. Items near the top of the backlog, the ones you're most likely to work on soon, should be clear and reasonably detailed. They should have good acceptance criteria, clarified assumptions, and enough shared understanding that the team can confidently bring them into a sprint. But items further down the backlog should be less detailed. There might be nothing more than just a sentence or two. It's not wrong to leave lower backlog items vague. It's the right and agile thing to do, actually. For example, imagine you're building a travel booking website. Early on, you might have detailed backlog items about booking airfare and booking hotels. Those are core features and they deserve that level of detail. But you might also have an item about booking cabins on a cruise ship. If cruises aren't the central part of your product, that item can stay vague for a longer time. It doesn't need to be sprint planning ready 6 months before anyone will even look at it. If you fully refine backlog items that far in advance, you're doing a lot of work on items that will likely change, move, or could even disappear. So rather than trying to keep the whole backlog ready, focus your refinement effort on where it matters the most, at the top. Refinement is designed to make sprint planning easier. That happens when the next sprint or two is well understood, not when a product backlog is documented 50 items deep. Let's pause there for a second. What I got to tell you, Mike, is I love you for this. One of the conversations we were just having last week in one of my certification trainings is the concept of M plus two, now plus two more. So when people ask me how far down the backlog should they have detail, now plus two sprints. When people ask me how many quarters should we plan for on a roadmap, now plus the next two. The point I try to make is if you go any further than that, you are severely running the risk of either being incorrect, irrelevant, outdated, and it just doesn't make sense. So for me, when you talk about this concept of refinement should be designed to make sprint planning easier, I even go as far as to say, if you're doing 2-week sprints, 1 week should be to discuss new work, get it aligned, and figure out what it is to make sure you have a general understanding. But that second week prior to sprint planning, you should be doing a planning prep where you're prepping all the work to make sure it's easily consumable in the next sprint planning meeting. Now, does that mean you have to have 100% of it hammered out? No, but it should be a lot more detailed so that when you go to sprint planning, you have the tools you need to keep that meeting short and concise so you're not spending all kinds of times in meetings. The thing that we're trying to do is just make everything short and sweet, just like Sabrina Carpenter. Hey, it's the name of her tour. I didn't just make that up. Anyway, that's going to do it for today. Mike, as always, your emails are rock star. I always enjoy receiving them. Please keep sending them. If you have a topic you want us to discuss, learn more at agiledad.com. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we encourage you to stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Until next time, do take care. Bye now.